one thing I noticed that I forgot. I always forget something, and I try to showcase it in my videos because I think on every trip I forget something, and I'm sure everyone has that experience. But this time it was a small hiking backpack. I usually carry a collapsible backpack with me so I can go hike and explore. That way I can carry my water with me, I can take off layers, stuff them in the pack. It's not just convenient, it's necessary. And I don't have it. That doesn't mean we're not exploring. It means that now I have to figure out my layers, because as you hike you get hot. You're gonna have to peel stuff off. I think I'm gonna remove my thermals and just wear this and have to take this off at some point probably. I'm gonna have to carry my water. I'm gonna take that little plastic water bottle and put it in a side pocket here. My pants, my cargo type pants, are gonna be my backpack. And then I'm gonna carry my collapsible water bottle and filter with me too, because I'm hoping to replenish some of the water I've used. I'm down to 1 liter. I'm gonna need some more to cook with and some more to drink. Also, I brought the GoPro, and I was gonna film the exploration entirely on GoPro, which is something I did at Hope Lake. The problem is I use the same cord to charge my cell phone as I do my GoPro, and I left it in the car because I had it on the charger in the car. I unplugged my phone but left the cord there, so I can't recharge my GoPro. So yesterday's time-lapse footage and some of the road footage, that was all GoPro, and that's about all I got out of it before it died. So no more GoPro footage for this outing, unfortunately, and I'm gonna set the trail camera before we leave because I've got critters all over the place. Might be kind of entertaining to see what I get while I'm away. So we'll make this work. Note to self, bring that extra backpack. Okay, so off with the thermals. You won't be able to tell, but, well, see, here's my thermals. Off with the thermals, on with the regular clothes, and then off to explore. Okay, all changed out. No more thermals. I put my water filter bag in this pocket, along with my water filter. The water filter's inside a Ziploc, so I don't have leakage in my pants, for lack of a better term. And then on this side I have that First Strike energy bar, and I put the hand warmer in with it because what happened is the cold got to it and it's hard as a rock, so that hand warmer will help soften it up just for a snack while I'm hiking. And I think we're ready. The trail camera's set up and turned on. Tent is zipped up. The more I talk, the more people can hear me talking to myself like a crazy person. The sound here is unbelievable how well it travels. Squirrel. We have a gray jay coming to visit us. I've pointed these guys out many times now. They're very social, very unafraid of people, and I'll probably get some of them on the trail camera. So as you can see, I'm all zipped up. Trail camera's on a small tripod right here, pointed towards where I think the animals would investigate. It may not be deer, bears, and coyotes, but hey, it's wildlife. And plus, I think these little critters are adorable. You know, years ago, I won't say how many years ago, but when I was 19, 20 years old, I used to go hunting for sport. By that I mean I would massacre with a .22 rifle. I would massacre squirrels, birds, anything that moved. And I have a lot of regrets about that. I've learned over the years that life is a precious thing, both from losing loved ones and also losing pets, and appreciating the sanctity of life. I am not anti-hunting. I just believe that if you're going to kill something, you should do it for a purpose. And in that case, I was killing just to kill. So I have a lot of regrets. There were a couple trips where I must have killed dozens of... This is back when I was a car camper. I was young and dumb, full of piss and vinegar, and I just thought, let's shoot everything that moves, you know. And I did. Not proud of it. I've learned that little animals are beautiful creatures, and I just have an affection for them now. I feel bad about those days. I still own guns. I don't have a problem with guns. I use them responsibly. I use them to defend my home and my person. I use them to... I'm not a hunter. I don't have a hunting license, but I could get into it. I could deer hunt. I could elk hunt. I could do all kinds of things that I would have no problem with. As far as just killing for the heck of it, the only exception to that, I think, is in Utah. There are two non-game animals that come to mind that you can hunt without a license. And those are jackrabbits and coyotes. And the reason why is because they're so numerous, and the jackrabbits destroy crops, coyotes destroy livestock. And the thing is with coyotes is they're too much like dogs. I could never shoot a coyote because it would be like killing Bob or Scraps, my dogs. I couldn't do it. You know, if I were getting surrounded by a pack of coyotes that were obviously intending to harm me, yeah, I could take care of business that way. That has happened, by the way. They're not as harmless as they seem. One at a time, they're pretty skittish, but in large packs, they've been known to attack people, small children too. And then jackrabbits, they breed like rodents, and they're very destructive. And there are places in the West Desert here in Utah where they've had to encourage people to go out and exterminate as many as they can, because they will overrun the land like mice. And they carry rabies and diseases, etc. I've seen it so bad that the jackrabbits literally flow like a river. When I was 12 years old, they had scout troops going up to Idaho with baseball bats. It's horrible to think of, but you should have seen the literally millions of jackrabbits that were just plaguing crops and destroying vegetation. It was pretty bad. Anyway, enough talk about my personal animal ethics. I have repented of my killing ways. I don't kill just for sport. In fact, I rarely kill anything anymore. Let's shut up and take in this scenery. What we've done is, camp is right up there, and we've just come down the trail further. There's this beautiful meadow here. Some kind of bird pecking at a tree in there. And then the trail continues on this way. The lake is right over that little ridge right here. Yeah, it's actually quite pretty in here. doing? Hey, little guy. He's holding so still. Maybe if I hold still, he can't see me. A lot of chipmunks in this area. This guy's just hanging out on this tree feeding his face. Oh, here comes his buddy. Aw, they're canoodling. Sort of. I'm jealous. They're twitchery. They're not too afraid of me. This guy's just cleaning his tail. If I step too close to him, they take off. But I'm mostly curious, I think. Huh, buddy? Yeah. A lot of little birds foraging all over the ground through here, along with the chipmunks. It's funny how they interact because you have chipmunks zipping by the birds and they don't seem to mind each other at all. But if I come walking by, they all kind of take off. See, there's a chipmunk and a bird right there. Breakfast in the mountains. So this trail is actually going away from Notch Lake, right up there. There's the Notch up in there, towards another lake, the lake we're hiking towards. I looked it up before I even came up here, but I can't for the life of me remember the name of it. But it's not labeled on my map. I have that problem a lot. It's labeled until I get up in the mountains and I can still see where I am on the GPS on my phone, but I don't know the name of the lakes or the peaks. I know that's Notch Mountain. I'm not an expert on all the labels up here. This would be really beautiful during runoff. We need to come up here late spring, early summer. You can see that there would normally be a beautiful creek running through here. But all that has changed with the weather. This, what appears to be a field or a meadow, is not actually. It's a dried up pond. Again, in the summertime, this would be full of water. I'll walk out here and give you perspective in a second, but when they're not stocked with fish, when they're smaller like this, they are still breeding ground for frogs. Little frogs that burrow down in the mud. So right now below the surface here, there are some frogs burrow down in the mud. In the spring they come to the surface, they breed, they croak, they make all kinds of noise. Our trail has suddenly turned very rocky. It looks to me like there's not much of an elevation gain going up to that other lake. I think it's just right up there. I don't know how many times I've said, oh, it's just over that ridge or whatever, and it's not, but according to my GPS, We're not very far from it, and there may even be some signage to help us clarify what lake it is. What I've decided, I've got a snack with me, I've got a water bag that I can refill at the lake. Why not check it out, you know? There are a lot of footsteps here, a lot of foot traffic. So I'll have to be quiet and careful. There are probably backpackers up here. In fact, I all but guarantee it. But hey, at least we didn't sleep at Clegg Lake with a bunch of drunken NASCAR fans. Hey, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he kicked ass over his dad. What are you, crazy? Freaking Dale Earnhardt, he's a hero, he's a martyr. I'll probably have to cut that out, or I'm going to get a whole bunch of hate down below about, hey, I like NASCAR. I think I've just watched too much Ricky Bobby. That's my NASCAR experience. Dear baby Jesus. Oh my goodness. Will Ferrell, you crack me up. So Reed's Peak, Bald Mountains over that way. Whole range of my beautiful Utah home in the Uinta Mountains. Those mountains are very majestic and huge, way above the tree line. If not for the smoke, you could see them really well. It's sad to see so much burning right now across the western United States. A lot of that smoke isn't even from Utah, it's from California and Oregon. Here are our incredible cliffs, Notch Mountain. You know there are people who have climbed that. I personally think it's insane, but whatever. To each their own. To some people, what I do is insane. You know, coming out here, let me get the right side here. Coming out here and doing this all alone. And I'll admit, the first time I went solo, I was pretty freaked out. But it's become so natural to me. I'm so used to it. It's like going for a walk in my neighborhood is more dangerous, you know. Oh, ow. We have arrived at a body of water. No need to look it up when I get home, guys. Now I remember clearly we're at Bench Lake. I don't see anyone camped here, nor do I hear anyone. This reminds me of Hayden Lake. We're nestled right up against the mountain like that, which is probably why it's called Bench Lake. It's right on the bench of this mountain. There's the notch right there. What a beautiful lake. This is not a difficult hike, not a lot of elevation gain, just distance really, and rocks. Wow. Breathtaking. What I'm curious about now is whether or not there's some good campsites around here. I can't imagine there not being any good spots. Yep. Didn't take long. So when I come up to Bench Lake, I love these scouting missions because I find places to come at a future date. But look at this. This is awesome. You have a fire pit. You have a little bench to sit on or cook on. A little footstool. You can put your tent right here. Or you can hang a hammock right here between these two trees. Let me give you some perspective here. See what I mean? This is ideal for hammock or tent camping. And it's right at the foot of the lake. And I'm pretty sure they stock this. I haven't watched yet for jumping fish, but I think Bench Lake is stocked. Look at this campsite. This one's a lot more elaborate. I don't think I like it as much. So we just came from that campsite. There's the lake. And over here, this is like almost a group deal. Like you bring 4 or 5 of your buddies up here. Whoops. You bring 4 or 5 of your buddies up here. Of course, they left their trash behind it. It's always nice. Who's gonna hike all the way up here and clean up this trash, guys? It'd be nice to prepare meals at waist height, you know. That'd be nice. You could sit on these. This is okay. But look, the trail comes right through here and it's too close to the trail. I like that one better. It's off the trail. It's near the lake, but not too close to the lake. I don't know. This looks like it's been overused. We've got all kinds of crap. Literally. It takes a dump right by their campfire. I'm gonna take this out. I won't dig everything out, but I'm gonna take that home with me. That's never gonna break down. I just don't have room in my pockets. This is the problem with not having a backpack. So we'll pack this out since nobody else bothered to. So we will say farewell to Bench Lake for now. Hopefully not for the season. I mean, if it snows up here, I won't be able to get in here. So, beautiful, majestic Bench Lake. Hopefully, I will return soon. I've worked up an appetite on this hike, and so I'm sitting here at Bench Lake. I'm just going to, before we leave, I softened up my first strike bar. Hot hands are still hot. They did a great job thawing this thing out. Let's get a view of the lake. There, at least you can see something besides pine trees, right? So I've shown these before and I really like them, but they need to be soft and chewy. This is the First Strike Energy Bar. Want some? They're kind of like a Cliff Bar, but more dense. It's almost like eating something between a taffy and an energy bar. The way it bends. So you get an instant boost of sugar and nutrients. It says there are 270 calories in this. Your average candy bar is 220, and this is way healthier. I don't see any fish jumping, so I honestly have no idea if there are fish in here or not. I've been wrong before. The first time I saw Fair Lake, I decided there were no fish in it, and then I later noticed fish jumping in it. So sometimes they just don't surface. It's also not bug season anymore. I think I've seen one mosquito, one lone survivor, two, but this isn't buggy at all. So there may not be a reason for the fish to jump right now. And this is the time that us bait fishermen, and even lure fishermen, I guess, can come in and take advantage of it. I didn't fish on this trip because you can't have a campfire, but if I come up here, if I'm able to come up here, like I hope, in the near future, I'll fish it. What I'll have to do is fry the fish instead of throwing it over a campfire. So I'll have to bring a little frying pan with a lid. Joe and I did that. Our trip to Hayden Lake. It's somewhere here in my videos. I could link that too. I'll link that in the description too. I caught a good sized tiger trout. We cut it in half and fried it in just water in a frying pan that he brought. And that fish was perfect. It was so good. It's one of the best fish I've ever eaten. Fresh out of the lake, cooked in water instead of oil, which he had heard about. I hadn't. Neither of us had ever tried it. And it worked really well. And it kept a lot of the juices in the fish too, instead of drying it out. And that was one good fish. So before I leave here right now, I want to gauge whether or not there are fish in here. If I can't, I'll at least look it up when I get home. Try. Sometimes people don't say. All I need to see is one ripple, and I'll know they're here. And if that's the case, then next time I'll bring my fishing stuff. Some people have asked, about my fishing technique. I used to fish with lures. I've never tried fly fishing. I really don't just want to stand there the whole time. Lure fishing is fun because you throw it out there, and as you're reeling it in, something jumps on that line. It's a rush, and you pull that fish in. I've done it quite a bit, actually. Over the years, I've come to appreciate putting bait on a hook, throwing it in the water, setting the pole down, and concentrating on other things. If you saw my Shepherd Lake video, that was a prime example. I fished for a while. I kept checking my line. I wasn't catching anything. I went to bed that night, decided I would throw it in the water and leave it overnight. I woke up that morning to a fish on my line. I find bait fishing satisfying, and my setup that I use is a really good one. When I fish at Butterfly Lake up here, which is right off the highway, everybody fishes there. The last time I went, I caught 18 fish. I took home 8. So I do release them. I am a hook 'em and cook 'em kind of guy, not so much a catch and release, which is why I don't come up here and just fish and let them go. And if I catch one that's a decent size, I'm going to eat it. Like I said, I don't kill unless it's with a purpose. Not the catch and release is killing. You let them go, they swim off, they have a happy life. But this time of year, when they don't have bugs, bait and lure fishing is the way to go. I suppose fly fishing would work because you have the only bug on the lake, throwing that fly out there. I just don't want to put all my time into that. I want to set my pole down and put my time into other things. That's all I'm saying. I have nothing against the other techniques at all. It's just, this is mine. That's all. If you look up a guy on YouTube, we communicate sometimes on YouTube, Facebook. I don't use Facebook. His name is Paxalot. He has some great videos up here. That guy slays fish. He's a lure fisherman. And he pulls them in one after the other. It's pretty amazing to watch. Highly recommend his channel. So shout out to you, Paxalot. He just completed the Highline Trail this summer. And I'm still working on watching all his videos. But it's amazing to watch. The Highline Trail up here is like 65 miles or something. And very high altitude, kind of a dangerous trail in places. In fact, one guy lost his life up there a few years ago. His body wasn't found for quite some time. Can't remember. It seemed to me like he was from Australia or New Zealand or I don't know, Colorado. I can't remember. It seemed like he was from another country. But Paxalot and his wife just completed the Highline Trail back in July. Very cool series of videos. Check him out. Let's finish this up and see if we can spot some fish somewhere. It's like a sea of glass right now.